The overall experience was amazing. I didn't have many expectations, and I had a lot to learn, a lot to gain. Growing up, I didn't know I didn't know much about the Olympics. I didn't know what the Paralympics were. Um, so I was more just excited and trying to maintain the excitement in a professional way so that I could perform in a professional way. Um, I went to Vichy, France the month before our race. So beginning of August, I flew to Vichy, and then me and my team actually took a bus to Paris from Vichy. It was about a 5 hour bus ride a week before we were supposed to race. And I say we were supposed to race because our race got pushed back a day. And so, getting on that bus and pulling up to Paris, the traffic was gnarly.
Mhm.
It was crazy. But I mean, the excitement was just kind of like the bus was very quiet. Everyone's looking around. And then you get, booms of excitement where it would get really loud, just like looking and pointing and saying, there's that and there's that. Um, but showing up to the athlete village and going through security and seeing all the professional ID cards and all the other athletes was it was just eye-opening. I really didn't understand the complexity and how big something like this was. The amount of people, the amount of time, the amount of money, the amount of just overall resources that was needed to create just the athlete village itself. It's a mini city inside of the one of the largest cities in the world. They have to feed us all. They have to house us all. They have to have enough bathrooms, enough coffee, enough bananas for everybody. It was unreal. So I was just it is tough because you're sitting there trying to take everyone's advice, which is just live in the moment and let it sink in and set in. But at the same time, you're like, I have to go do my job or I have to go do my race for me,
Mhm.
the paratriathlon race. And it's a week and a couple days away. So can't get overly excited. One of my biggest problems is I get to the off the bus and I'm freaking starving. And I walk into the dining hall that has all this unlimited food and I want to eat 10 plates of food. And so I ate 5 plates of food, which was I was not supposed to do. Um, because I was on the taper. And although my brain and my belly were saying I want to eat as much as I've been doing the past 4 months, I couldn't do that. Otherwise, I would have put on a lot of weight. I let myself misbehave on night one, and then I had to dial it back in. But it truly was. It's an experience that's what you work for.
Mhm.
That is what you put in all the time and effort. And so, as soon as I stepped off that bus, I was like, "Hell yeah, let's go."
That's amazing. And what was the role of USA triathlon before, let's say, Paralympics and then going to the Paralympics? Because so did they kind of help with like maybe some scheduling, with some races, other material, financial support? Is there something like that from
Yeah,
USAT?
yes. So, I'm not there without USAT. There's a
Mhm.
whole crew, family, coach, friends, local community, local businesses, financial sponsors, people I don't even know wanting to help and sponsor. But in terms of, what USA Triathlon specifically provided was they gave me my first talent ID contract, which basically, when I showed that I was interested in the sport and was willing to take it to the next level, they got me a run leg. So because I am on the para side, I'm a below the knee amputee, and you need specific equipment in some instances to do the run and the bike.
Mhm.
Um, and so they invested in me by getting me a run leg. They provided travel assistance, and accommodations for international races. They provide, um, they sort or they pay for my coach. So there's different levels of how they help each of the athletes, but the main thing they're looking for, which I'm very appreciative of, is if you show you're committed and your goal is to go and represent the USA and try and bring home a medal, they are going to do whatever they can to help you. And so I'm forever grateful for everything that USAT did for me, from allowing me to travel the world for the past 3 years. And when we got to Paris, it was just they did the scheduling, they did the rides. I mean, they are a huge part of me and my team's ability to focus on what we needed to do, which was just simply race as hard as we can for an hour. So I can't name it all, but it was a lot that they
That's
did.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And I'm I'm pretty surprised that they even helped you, in Paris, kind of that it wasn't just, you go and you do you. So that's amazing, and the level of help. Would you, so what was your kind of, because I know that USA Triathlon is now focusing on, youth development and everything. What do you see any like very big improvement since you like went to triathlon? Do you see any like big improvement in development in general? It doesn't have to be just the youth one, but because you said they are helping you with paying for your coach, and something like that. So what is the development for the national team of USA Triathlon?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would be in a cool position to ask that question too, because went, I went from in 2022 not knowing what order a triathlon was. So, do you swim, run, or bike first? And then what do you do? And then what do you end? I had no idea. To 2.5 years later, being able to bring home a medal, which I'm super grateful for. And that has a lot to do with their development program. So that the way that looked was they recruit talent to do testing, just kind of bare testing at that person's home. So for me, I got an email that said send us your run time, your 1K run time, and your 200-meter swim time. Um, and as soon as I did that, I guess they evaluate the tests, and then they decide whether you go on for further testing or not. They brought me out to the Olympic Training Center, and we did more testing. Um, and that's when I got my coach. I got more guidance. I learned what a triathlon was. I
Mhm,
learned what it was going to entail. Not everything, but the basics to at least get me excited and not scare me away.
mhm,
Um, and then they got me into racing. And after they got me into racing, they got me into their talent ID program, which was I've shown commitment and I've done the sport and I've shown something that they like, I guess. And from there, um, I'm in the talent ID program. The goal is for me to go from talent ID program to the national team. So
mhm,
I did some developmental races. So they have a series domestically, where you travel to different places in the US and you can do developmental races. And the goal is to do those races so that you can eventually make it to the international cup series,
mhm.
I guess. You may know more about this than me. And
Yeah.
then you go to uh the the regular series, or I
Mhm.
guess the WPS.
Yeah.
Um, and so I was fortunate where I did a developmental race and then was able to jump into the international racing not long after, because a wait list, so a few people dropped off a starting list, and gave me the opportunity to go race in France and Spain. And then from there, um, I got an invite to Worlds because
Mhm.
again, someone dropped off the start list. And then that was all in 2022, which no one expected me to be able to go to Worlds. I didn't expect to go to Worlds. I was told last minute to fly to Abu Dhabi, and I'm racing in 4 days. I was very fortunate. And then in 2023, the goal was to make it on the national team, and I was fortunate that I was able to meet the criteria in a few races to be able to be on the national team, which um, again, USAT has a lot of different avenues to just help any athlete that is showing promise as well as showing the motivation. They're going to do what they can to help you get to the Paralympics and put you in the best position to win a medal.
Mhm. US, is a huge country. So in Czech, we are really small, and we are trying to have now centralized training. So for our national team, we are trying to have one coach, basically one assistant coach, and have group of 5, 10 people training together. But I know in the US it's very hard. So how do you feel in this environment that is not centralized, I would say, that you have to have kind of your own coach, and you have to do your own things. I have to openly here say, you swam with us before Paris and everything. So do you think that's something beneficial, this like decentralization, or do you think you might benefit from that central, national team, let's say, with one coach? And
Yeah, I think um, I personally I'm a big fan of the team environment. You know, a team pushes you more, a team motivates you, a team is there when you don't want to do something um, to help you do it. You know, and then I give you and everybody at Queens a whole lot of credit. And I know I've openly talked about it, but I can talk about it on here just where it got to where I needed to push myself even further, and the motivation to swim in the pool 7 days a week by myself was tough. And so the opportunity that you and the whole team and Miles and Sunny and Sage gave me was truly one of the key factors to allowing me to come home with a medal. So again, thank you to you and Queen's University. But to answer your question, the centralized system I think would be ideal. It is nice to have different coaches' mindsets. So I think there needs to be a centralized team of athletes and a centralized team of coaches
Mhm.
so that you don't have one coach whose philosophy is the exact same, unless, of course, this coach has proven accolades and successes, then yeah, but um, being able to have a centralized team where you can train together, you can benefit from one another, you can help each other out. I think would be the ideal scenario. Now, for me, they offer that here in Colorado Springs,
Uh-huh.
um, but because in the U.S., it's up to USAT to help fund their athletes.
Mhm.
It's the government. Um, I don't think plays a huge role where in some countries the government sponsors all of that.
Mhm.
So for me, I have another job, and so to move somewhere else where I don't have a remote job, that really wasn't an option
Yeah.
for me. And but I do think a centralized training center facility where you have everything um, is key. But another aspect of that is it's got to be in a place where you can also free your mind and do something else because triathlon is it's a lifestyle, and to get to the international tour, the World Series tour, and then the Paralympics or the Olympics, um, it's a lot, and so you have to go somewhere where you can also live a little.
Yeah.
That's my mindset on it, at least.
No, man, I agree with you. So I'm glad you are saying that. I mean, it all brings me to my last question. I don't want to hold you for too long. So what are your plans for the upcoming years? You know, there is Olympic Games coming up in Los Angeles, so is that something you are thinking about?
Um, yes, so that's everyone's big question, which is fun. But I've taken the past 3 or so months off, and I think when I say that I take time off versus some of my teammates, I take time off. I went from healthy triathlon lifestyle to working hard again, playing hard sometimes, and just enjoying life. But I will say I'm excited um, to, I'm not exciting. I'm excited to get back in the pool in a small sense of excitement. I'm excited to get back with you guys and the Queens team. I'm excited to get back into shape, and so the plan is to slowly get back into training, have fun with the training, and race. Not as much as I have been the past 3 years, but race enough to keep myself on the series tour, gain enough points to be able to make it to Worlds, and then see where we are in 4 years. There's a chance that a bunch of newcomers come in and I just get my butt whooped, or there's a chance maybe um, I can stay, somewhat competitive. Um, but I do plan on continuing with the goal being LA. But to break it down this year, the goal is learn how to have fun with the training, take the pressure off and see if I can get better with a smile on my face. Um, so that's the goal this year, and I
That's
may look into also some winter sports.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yep,
That's awesome. And I think that's very inspiring for every athlete, not just triathlete, you know, just having fun and enjoying the sport to the fullest. Good luck with everything, and I will see you on Friday in the pool.
that's right. Hey, thank you big time. I appreciate you including me, and we'll see you in the pool on Friday.